All right, let's talk about a huge challenge that pretty much every modern business is facing: cloud costs that just seem to spiral out of control. We're going to dive into a framework called FinOps. And here's the thing, it's not really about just slashing your budget. It's about getting way smarter with how you spend. The big idea is to create a common language that finally gets your finance people and your tech people on the same page. Let's see how it all works. You know, it really all starts with this one simple but super tough question. Your engineering teams are out there building amazing new things, moving at lightning speed because of the cloud. But then, at the end of the month, this massive bill shows up. So, who's on the hook for that? Is it the engineers who spun up all those resources? Or is it the finance team that's left holding the bag? For most companies, the answer is, well, it's messy. It's complicated. You get this classic tug of war, right? Engineering needs total freedom to innovate and move fast. Meanwhile, finance needs predictability, they need control over the budget. And this constant back and forth doesn't just create tension, it can actually slow the whole business down. This is the exact problem that the FinOps framework was built to solve. So, how do we fix this mess? This is where FinOps comes into the picture. Let's get into what it actually is, because you'll see pretty quickly it's a lot more than just another corporate buzzword. It's a fundamental shift in how businesses think about the cloud. Okay, so here's the official definition from the FinOps Foundation. It calls it an operational framework, and this is the really important part, a cultural practice. Notice the big themes here: maximizing value, using data to make smart calls, and getting everyone, tech, finance, the business side, to actually work together to create accountability. I really want to zoom in on this one phrase because it is the absolute heart of FinOps. This is so crucial. FinOps is not just about cutting costs. It's about spending money smarter. It makes you ask the question, for every single dollar we're spending in the cloud, are we getting the most possible value back? The best performance, the fastest innovation? So, how do you actually build this kind of value-focused mindset? Well, it's not random. It's guided by a really clear set of principles. You can think of these like the foundation, the pillars that hold up the entire FinOps culture. What's so interesting about these pillars is that they basically create a whole new social contract for how your company operates. Collaboration is no longer optional. Ownership gets pushed out to the edges. The engineers who are actually using the resources are empowered to own their spend. You have a central team that acts more like a coach than a cop. And every single decision is backed up by easy-to-get data and is tied directly to what's good for the business. It's all about embracing that pay-as-you-go model of the cloud, not fighting against it. So if everybody's collaborating, who exactly are we talking about? Who's on the team? FinOps isn't just one person's job, that's for sure. It's a total team sport, and it involves a whole cast of different players, or personas, as the framework calls them. The framework splits these players into two groups, which is pretty clever. On the left, you've got your core personas. Think of these as the people in the daily huddle: engineers, finance folks, leadership, and your dedicated FinOps practitioners. Then on the right, you have your allied personas. Now, these folks might not be in every single meeting, but their expertise in areas like security or sustainability is absolutely critical to making smart, well-rounded decisions. Okay, so we've covered the what, the why, and the who. Now for the really important part, the how. How does all this theory actually come together and function in the real world? The structure here is actually super simple and really effective. You've got what are called domains, which are just the big picture goals you're trying to achieve, like, say, fully understanding your costs. And then you have capabilities, which are the specific, concrete actions you take to actually get there. It's a straight line from what you do to what you get. And here you can see exactly how that connection works. To achieve that big goal or domain of understanding usage and cost, you need to build capabilities like proper cost allocation and good anomaly detection to catch those surprise cost spikes. If you want to optimize, you focus on things like rate optimization, using reserved instances, and workload optimization, which could be something as simple as shutting down your dev environments over the weekend. It's a really clear roadmap. Now, this might all seem like a lot to take on, but here's the good news. You don't have to do it all at once. FinOps is designed to be a journey, an evolution. So let's look at how a company actually adopts this and gets better at it over time. This journey follows a simple, repeating cycle. First, you inform. This phase is all about getting visibility, because you can't manage what you can't see. Once you have a clear picture of your spending, you move on to optimize. This is where you start making changes to be more efficient. And finally, you operate. This is where you bake these habits into your everyday business operations, and you're always looking for new ways to get more value. And then the cycle just starts all over again. And you definitely don't have to be an expert on day one. The framework embraces this awesome crawl, walk, run model. In the crawl phase, you're just getting started focusing on the absolute basics. As you get better, you move into the walk phase, expanding your processes and getting more people involved. And eventually, you get to run, where your FinOps practice is scaled up, automated, and just part of your company's DNA. It makes this whole thing feel so much more achievable. So, to wrap all this up, what are the most important things to remember? First, FinOps is a culture of collaboration and ownership. It's not just another team. Second, it gives everyone a shared language to finally bridge that gap between the tech and finance worlds. Third, the goal isn't just to cut costs, it's all about creating value. And finally, remember, it's a journey. You just start where you are and grow from there. So, I'll just leave you with this question to think about. If you look at your own company, your own team, where would you say you are on this journey? Are you just starting to crawl? Maybe you're finding your footing in the walk phase? Or are you full-on running and automated? It's a really powerful way to think about what your next step should be. Thanks for tuning in.